I want to talk to the empaths and hypersensitives, the ones that are so ambitious that every day you wake up and you're wondering, how can you get to where you want to go? You study manifestation, you go deep into the depth of yourself in order to find out how to heal the way your past is currently getting in front of your future. The more and more you dive into yourself, the more you realize that you can control a lot more of what is going on inside of you than you can outside of you. And because the internal world projects and creates the external world, we're living in this beautiful representation of how our soul can manifest in a human body, and the entire world around us is a representation of our manifestation and godlike abilities. We are God, we are alien, we are angel. The only thing separating you from coming into that awareness is you holding on to the fact that we're in a limited world and you live and die in this body, and there is nothing beyond what your five senses can pick up on. So I want to go beyond that and tell you that my entire platform is dedicated to showing you, the empath and the hypersensitive, how to truly come into yourself as a galactic healer and creator, how to better understand the gifts and abilities that were never explained to you as a child that you do possess. And today, it's a really important day to be talking about this. How to slow down, how to be grateful for where you're at and not allow your ambition to destroy your peace and your connectivity with your heart. You have to realize that you being so ambitious is a double-edged sword. And if you can make the side of the sword that may be cutting you less sharp, then you can fully benefit and have a majority of your archetype as an ambitious empath be more productive and be more gravitational to where you want to go. Have you ever said, I'm not going fast enough? I have. And every day I'm saying it less, because I'm starting to tell myself, I am doing amazing. I'm starting to look at every single thing that I have accomplished, all the periods of growth, death and life, and the cycle of transformation that I have gone through. I'm metamorphosizing like a butterfly, and I know you are, because you're right here with me. I'm bringing in a reflection of myself, so I know everybody behind the phone or computer that is watching me is simply a reflection of myself. So I'm going to talk to you as if I'm talking to myself and writing in an endearing letter so I can better understand how to move forward. Because when you heal, I heal. When I heal, you heal. And as you take your empath archetype that is so ambitious and you realize how to overcome the parts of your empathic archetype that are holding you down, but then you rush into the tools of your empathic archetype that is holding you up, you can now leverage the pre-existing energy in your system and direct it towards where you want to go. So oftentimes, as we move into a place where we start to pursue businesses and a purpose, and we truly realize that we are different because we're being led from our heart and our soul. And as an empath, we can feel the heart and soul of other people, so we're often led into businesses and projects in which we can heal other people. Now, as you go forward in business, or you're trying to learn how to become a better version of yourself, you can watch my platform, other people's platforms that, hopefully are talking about how to merge consciousness into personal development and how to use a higher percentage of your brain so you can access more of your soul's higher dimensional energy. you're gonna develop a list of things you want to change and improve. As you're building a business, you're going to want to create a list of things that you have to do. And because you have so much passion in you, and because you have overcame so much energetic imbalance and abuse from being drained by yourself, other people, locations, a lot of times, you know, empaths, speaking for myself too, we can be vulnerable to what is called mental disorders, but I call them mental gifts and powers. Because the reason we have an energetic imbalance is because we have such a large awareness of energy that we're just not taught how to use it to identify and be entertained by the energy we're picking up on. And instead, we come into this archetype being abused by fully taking on other people's energy and feeling responsible for people and not being able to handle the sensitivity in self. The empath and the hypersensitive is the same thing. You're fully aware and you have a greater awareness of your emotions and your thoughts. And because you are aware of more of what's going on inside of you, you have a larger spectrum of emotional capability. And with that comes you having to understand emotional intelligence. So realizing that sensitivity is what can give us our greatest creative power. But that sensitivity of awareness can also make us very, very responsive to any stimuli in ourself or around us. So the minute we get to working on ourself or a business, we're so excited. We feel all the emotion, and then we have all the times in our life where we may have felt lost. And from that point, we have this backing behind us. We have this energy behind us that truly is here to show us that every single thing we have gone through was not without purpose, and every single thing that has hurt us did not happen for no reason, because it led us to this point now. So that energy of redemption from being energetically abused to now focusing your energy is so powerful that it makes us go into this super drive where we just want to get stuff done. But when you're doing that, when you're so focused on getting stuff done because you're aware that your hypersensitivity gives you a greater understanding of the universe, now you realize that the only thing stopping you from getting a lot of work done in yourself or in a project is learning how to sustain your energy and how to be energetically balanced in the process. That is usually the defining key and the factor. And while we have a list of things we would like to get done in ourselves or in a business that we are working on to support our healing abilities in self, we have to be aware how the system of using creative energy in this world acts on our system. Every single thing you see around you is a system. Every electronic has a system of processes on the back end that allows the front end of experience to happen. Every time you see a TV, there is layers of functionality and systems in the background, and A has to connect to B, and C has to connect to D, and E has to connect to F. That system of layering functions is how the entire universe works. That is simply an example of alchemy, which is a bunch of small parts to come together to make one large part. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you the process of how we use our imagination in this third dimensional world, how to slow down and be mindful enough of each task so we don't get overwhelmed or overtaxed, how to slow down your nervous system so while you're working, you're not getting extremely bombarded with so much energy that it prevents you from working the next day, and how to truly be in charge of your ambition. Okay, so step one is the layers of dimensions, right? So when you're tapping into creativity, what you're doing is you're going outside of your body and you're using your soul to navigate the higher realms of energy that the universe exists in. Then you pull down information and you use your body and your mind to perceive that information, to connect to your own self. And then you package that creative information so other people can understand it. So initially, when you're in that high realm, you're in the 5th dimension or higher. When you're channeling, when you're doing anything creative, you're tapping into a flow state where your mind no longer exists. That is why artists usually go to their art for therapy, is because they are able to go into their soul and escape the constrictions that the mind places on the soul. And usually for an artist to do good, it is them being around things or having a ritual or a habit that allows them to be in a state of mindlessness, where you have no mind, no thoughts, and you're just in this really gooey, blissful cloud where ideas are floating around you and you feel as if you're traveling the universe. So that higher dimensional energy is faster. When you're in your mind, you're using the quantum field, and when you're accessing your imagination, you're using your mind to explore the universe. That energy of the 5th dimension or higher, depending on what level of dimension you're pulling energy and information from, the higher the dimension, the faster the speed. So when you're a soul in a body, even though you're going to those higher dimensions to pull down information, you are still doing it in a body, because that is where your current reincarnation is. So when this is happening, you initially have to realize you have to take care of the body and your nervous system while you're bringing information down from a higher dimension. And that information is energy which is vibrating much more quicker and higher than your body. And that is why sometimes when you are channeling or being creative, your body's nervous system starts to react and get taxed, because your body is used to a slower rate of energy because it is of the 3rd dimension. So when you're bringing creative information into your body, you're bringing information from the 5th dimension, taking energy that is much more quicker than the vehicle that you're bringing it into. Now, yes, you can upgrade your DNA, go through a level of spiritual awakening where you go into the higher dimensions in this body, and then your body eventually catches up when you come down and decide what is the egoic program of thoughts and emotions that create an identity that you would like to live by in this matrix, after you realized it was a matrix. Once you go into that place, you can upgrade your cells so they can bring in energy from higher dimensions, because initially they're programmed for the 3rd dimension. So when you approach work, you have to get your body in a slower state. You have to walk slower to your computer, walk slower to your kitchen or the bathroom or your bedroom, breathe slower, notice one detail at a time, slow your body and your nervous system down before you then bring information into it that is of a higher speed and a higher dimension. Then when you're initially doing that, you can slow everything down. You can allow yourself to realize that as long as you're slowing down your body and your mind, then when you're channeling creative information, your body will not be as taxed as it would be if you did not signal it to slow down and feel more comforted in this 3rd dimensional matrix. So that's the important thing, is understanding when you're channeling creative information, you're going to the 5th dimension or higher, and then you're bringing it into your body because you're already in a body as you're doing this. And then after that, you're taking that higher dimensional information, and as it's moving through your body, you're finding a way to translate it in a comprehensive manner using language, so people can absorb what you're trying to teach them through video or text or however your platform is set up. Because chances are, if you're here, you're a healer, because you're a reflection of me. I'm teaching teachers how to come into their soul's galactic resonance, so you can do your soul's mission on earth and in different dimensions if you're called to it, if you're a light worker or a shadow worker. Now, so that's how the dimensions function and how each layer works with each layer when you're tapping into something creative and you're taking the information that you're finding. You're taking that universal knowledge and trying to bring it into earth through your own teachings or your writing or your art. Now, step 2 is realizing that when you are mindful of one thing at a time, you are now removing yourself from the fast pace of the mind and the higher dimensions. You have more control over the higher dimensions and the information you're tapping into, and you have more control of how your mind organizes that information, so you can actually get more work done with less time when you work slower. I know it's actually very contradictory, because you would think, if I work faster, won't I get more stuff done? Yes, but if you work too fast, then you're going to be so scrambled in your mind that you may get a lot of stuff done, but the next day or after you do that task, your whole nervous system will be experiencing exhaustion. If you go too fast, you might be confused and you might feel as if you're doing a lot of things, but truly the organization of what you're doing and the production of your work might suffer because you're not thinking clearly. So slow down by being mindful of the task you're in. If you have a list of things you would like to do in your life or your business, take one thing at a time so your entire system can revolve around enjoying and experiencing and getting that one thing done. And if you're always trying to worry about the 9 tasks you have next, then all you're doing is just doing chores. No, we don't want that, because we want to live and be at the greatest level of empowerment and happiness that we can come into during this reincarnation. So be more mindful of the current task you're on. Be more mindful of how your senses are interpreting this particular task. Don't feel as if you have to do everything today. Even if you do, just tell your mind and tell the quantum field that you are embodying the future you that has already gotten everything you needed to get done on that day. So even if you need to go fast and get a lot of stuff done, the way to do that is by slowing yourself down and doing one thing at a time so you can be more sustainable. Now, step 3 is understanding your motivation for growing. Understanding your motivation for creating a business and coming into your purpose. A lot of that fire and passion is coming from the fight that you have been continuing to put energy into your entire life. Just speaking for myself, I've gone through a series of traumatic periods in my life with mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, physical health, all of those things. So I carry the fight, and whenever I accomplish something, it gives me more encouragement to do the next thing, and that is great. But be aware that one of the main reasons you might be doing this is to redeem the old version of you, or the old community that you used to belong to. Is to validate the things in your past that you believed gave you validation. So you have to remove this business or this personal development as a means for you to feel validated and realize that you can validate yourself right now because you're on the path to greatness and a good business and a good growth in yourself. And by you envisioning the version of yourself in a parallel reality that is already living out the life that you desire with every single area of life exactly how you wanted it to be, then technically you already have everything. Feel validated like that and turn that validation into motivation. There's a huge difference between allowing your past to be fire and allowing it to be a weight where you're trying to fight the consistent thoughts that you're not good enough. Because then you're going to keep going, and you're going to try to make yourself do more than you can to prove that you're further along than where you were in your past. Okay? Now, 4 is I want you to realize that you have complete control over everything. Now, this doesn't mean you have control over people or control over the unfortunate experiences that has happened in your life or are currently happening, because your soul may have wanted you to have those experiences so you can be put against the wall long enough for you to have to develop a skill set that would only need to be developed if you were in that bad situation. But you can control how you react to it. You can control how you frame every experience. You can control how you nurture your disempowering emotions so you can feel more love and let go of things that you're holding on to in the past. You can control how you view yourself and the world around you and the timeline that you believe you're living out. Believe that you are the version of you that is the dream version. Decide what you want in life, what are the most important areas of your life. Write down, if there were no limitations, how would every area of life look? And then visualize a version of you that has all those things. And then I want you to feel as if you're that version of you. So you have a lot more control than you think. You have control. You can control how fast you work. You can control if you allow your work to pressure you. It's you being the king and queen and god and goddess of your work, and you not allowing pressure or any other factor that is messing with your ability to get work done. You can decide to approach that factor and discuss a way for this factor, whether it's a person or part within you or something in your environment. Decide a way that you can transmute this factor to teach you something. It's either here to teach you how to work in a more comprehensible manner, or it's you needing to put a boundary up so you're not around that factor. By factor of variable, I'm just talking about anything that is distracting you or keeping you from being the best version of yourself. Realize that you have more control than you think, and you're going to win every time. So this is it for the video, guys, and I just want to tell you that I do quantum coaching, 5th dimensional galactic quantum coaching. I am able to tap into the different dimensions at which your soul is existing at and align all the information so you understand in this body how to tap into your psychic abilities or your higher dimensional powers. And I can really stream the information in to extract the parts of your subconscious mind that are preventing you from moving forward, so you can heal those and feel more empowered and truly tell you what is your next step in expanding your consciousness. I also have a book coming out, How to Go Through a Spiritual Awakening as an Empath. I'll teach an empath, which is going to be you, how to use the unique archetype that you are to tap into higher dimensional energy to heal yourself, others, and to give yourself a purpose in the world, rather than you're in heightened awareness being a burden because you cannot have boundaries with the energy you're absorbing from the people around you, the locations, or where you're at. I'm going to show you that you actually are one of the most advanced soul classes out there, and the entire galactic realm and all the star seeds, god seeds, and alien races and angels really are tapping into the souls that are meant to come into their power in this reincarnation. You're on Earth because you're supposed to tap into what your soul wants you to know, so you can embody your gifts and go to the higher dimensions that you're meant to go to in this life, so you can actually lift the collective and feel love and power in your heart and help everyone around you. Definitely send me a message on my Facebook page. My Facebook page is Ambition Over Fear. My Facebook group is the Ambition Over Fear Alchemists. And my personal page is Atlas Opia. So if you would like a copy of that book, or you would like quantum coaching, definitely reach out and we can go from there. Until next time, guys, stay powerful. Don't judge yourself too much. You know, I do judge myself too much sometimes, and it doesn't help. Just care a little bit less about being perfect. All right, take care. I'll talk to you guys later. Stay powerful and stay magical.